Excellent. Baruch Hashem. Okay, so we're learning the Chesed Avram on Pesach. Chesed Avram summary on Pesach. So, of course, I have to say the obligatory story, which you probably know. It's Pesach, yeah. That's right. So the
Damas?
Yeah, we'll do the Damas first, and we'll move on to the
obligatory story.
The obligatory story, which I'm sure you remember, you probably know, and maybe you also know. The first story, which gives you a little bit of a no. Yes. We'll get to the Dam of Adamisha 2, which we'll talk about. But the story is Rosh Shlomo Karliner. Rosh Shlomo Karliner told the story of two brothers. One was a big Kabbalist, and one was a simple tailor. You probably remember the story, right? So the Kabbalist and the tailor met each other after the first night of the Seder. And the Kabbalist was shining, glowing. And his brother, the tailor's like, wow, you're so happy. I don't usually see you so happy, Pesach Hana. You're usually like just a little down, whatever. So he's like, you don't understand. The Kavanas of Pesach, they are so hard. They're counterintuitive. This comes in by itself, and this you have to think about it. This comes in by itself. You go here, and then you go back, and you think this, you don't think this. It's very, very confusing. I've never got it right. I always flub something. I have to confuse, and I mess it up. I'm like, oh, I did that wrong. I should have done this. I had to think this thing. I think that thing. It's like many beginners, many aspects. It's out of order because you're getting an order from above, and what do you get from above, and how do you get from above? And it's like we'll see, Be'ez Hashem. So the tailor, he's like, okay, cool. I don't know about the kavanot stuff, dude. Like, whatever. That's fine. He's like, but then his face lit up. He's like, the truth is, I also had a really great Pesach though. Because the whole time I was just filled with such joy and thanksgiving. Thank you, Hashem, for taking us out of Mitzrayim. Thank you so much for removing us out of Mitzrayim, extracting us out. Such a hard place to stay. And the people like, oh no, I forgot that kavanah. It's like, you have to be careful of the kavanas, right? First of all, it's true anyway. That is out of order. But besides that, the kavanas in general, kavanas are meant to help you attain a particular goal. It's not necessarily helpful for everyone to have in mind the kavanas. It really depends on your attitude. If you have in mind the kavanas because you have no idea what's going on, it's going to the highest place, that's amazing. So that's why the Maggid says, the Trinity Rav brings, the Maggid says that many people learn kavanas even if they're not mechaber, because if you understand where you're going with the Seder, what you're doing with the Seder, it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. You're inspired because wow, I'm moving worlds. I'm affecting the whole year. It's unbelievable what's happening. What's the Seder? So that's what the Maggid said. So have kavanah, don't have kavanah. You have to have the right kavanah. Has to help you come close to Hashem and have the main kavanas, not detract from your ability to focus. Not as one teacher put it, what are you, some kind of a supernal plumber, as it were? God forbid, this channel to here, that channel to there. He's like, that is totally messed up. You don't know what you're doing. You're like, forget it. It's got to be avoda. It's got to be connection. That's the next thing. The others, martial I like to use from Rav Pinkus all the time when we talk about this, because it also gives a lot of understanding of what this is about and what our purpose is when we did with the Seder. He said, once there was a man who went to the airport to travel, and I'm sure you remember this also, went to the airport to travel, and, he saw someone, he didn't know where to get this. There's shops, and there's certain places you have to go. You have to get, you go to ticket offices, or you go to different refund places, different things he needed to deal with before his flight. He wasn't sure what to do. He's in. As he went. This guy, he met this one guy who knew the whole airport. He's like, I have to really get a refund. I don't know where to go when I come back. He's like, no, I'll show you and I'll tell you. And the guy knew the whole airport in the back of his hand. Yeah, this is the story here. And go here. This is good here and that. He's like, wow, you know the whole airport. It's amazing. He's like, how often do you fly? He's like, no, I work here. I never flown. So the picture is like, this guy is in an airport, but he never, ever, ever did experienced the purpose of the airport. The purpose of the airport is to fly. If you don't fly, you have no idea what it means in airport. You have no idea what it means. Nothing. You know nothing. That's how he explains. And it's the same thing with the Seder. Seder is if you set up a certain setup that's supposed to take you the highest places. If you don't fly, well, it's very nice. With the matzah, and it's the rice and it's beautiful, but you're missing a lot of the main. The kavanah is one of the main aspects. Of course, doing the mitzvah, you can't just do the kavanah without the mitzvah. It's got to be also with the Maseh. You don't have the Maseh. The main thing is the Maseh. You can't. The mitzvah again says, a person who wants to, he says, I'm a soldier, dedicated to my country. Absolutely dedicated. So his officer says, do this, he doesn't do it. Do that, he doesn't do it. Do the other thing, he doesn't do it. Is he dedicated? And it's, no, my heart, I'm very dedicated. What do you mean your heart, you're very dedicated? What does that mean? It has to come into action. So some things are difficult, some things this, some things that, but like whatever it is, like bottom line is, if you're absolutely dedicated, you get it done. Like there's certain things if you're that's who you are. That's who you are. You can't be. I'm in my heart. It has to express itself outside of your heart as well for it to be real. Otherwise, it's not exactly real. It's potential, not actual. Okay. So now we're going to start learning the Heilige Chesed Avram. And we're going to see what he says about what is going on, what is it Mitzrayim, what's the deal, right? So we're starting from the Mimon, the 13th Mimon, Chag Pesach, which is Mitzrayim, right? Tzad Pesach, Tzad Ches in the Knaf, in the Maseh Choshev. Halo Yadata, Ki Yisrael, Shayu Bagolos Mitzrayim, Hayu Oisim Mitzotza, Shekeri, Shohitzi, Adam Harishon, Oisim Kuflam Etchanim, Chanoidor. I don't know if I want to go into this too much. Very bekitzer. Adam Rishon wanted to do tshuva.
This is essential to know. The Hagdamas, these are the Hagdamas, no?
Yes, no. I'm going to explain somewhat. I don't have to go into the whole. There's a protein that the Ri talks about. What was the Chet Tedas? What happened? Why was it carried? What's going on? That's it. You know, he was with his wife early. Why was he with his wife early? Like the Ri has a whole mahalach of why. That's not necessary for right now. We can talk about it, but it's not really necessary to understand what's going on. To understand what's going on, we need to know what Rav Nosson says about this. Rav Nosson says that Adam Rishon is from Chazal. Adam Rishon, he failed. He messed up. He's like, I dropped the ball. I should not have lowered the world. I shouldn't have allowed myself to take a bechira and do all that. I should have just did what Hashem said. It was a mistake. And he did tshuva. He separated himself from his wife for 130 years. And he did a tremendous tshuva. And during that time, two major things happened. Number one, he kept on having Kerry. Kept on having problems they sent these klippas to be mechamim and Kerry. And
I thought you did intentionally.
No, chas v'shalom. Kept on having Kerry. He didn't have anything
to get rid of the
Zuma. No, that's not true. I don't know where you got.
I'd
be happy to see where it says that. No. That's no. So you're going back. Okay, so I will talk about quickly what the Ri says. That why was Adam with Chava before Shabbos? What does it have to do with eating Eitzadas that he was suddenly together with his wife?
So this is a Kavanah of Rosh Hashanah, no?
Rosh Hashanah is its own Indian. Yeah, it's also part of it's part of you fixing part. Rosh Hashanah is part of this, but not exactly. Let's stick to the facets that he talks about because we're trying to get more to Dora Mabel, Dora Flaga, which was also these. Carry and then the Jewish people in Mitzrayim and why they were going through so much. That's where he's going. How do you know that? Where do you see that? That's where he's going. But like the Indian is that when Adam ate from the fruit, he right away had an emission. That's what happened. So he wanted to save it, so he went quickly to with his wife, and the zera that was already outside impregnated her with Cain. The zera that was inside and went out impregnated her with Heva. That's what that says. That's what you're confusing a little bit. So it wasn't intentional. He had a problem he was trying to fix. Exactly. He had that. That's why there's what happened. Like, yeah, what'd you do? You told him the whole world fell to pieces and everything. He's like, what's going on over here? Right? That's what that says. So that's this. In order to fix this, he spent 130 years separated from his wife, doing tshuva. And two things happened. Number one, he had this carry, and number two, he kept getting simanim and hashamayim. We are uninterested in what you have to say. You are completely wasting your time. Your efforts are completely futile. That's what the Medrash says. And he was sure that but he's like, gonna keep trying. And Rav Nosson says, no, actually, he had to overcome those doubts, self-doubt, and he had to just keep working, even though he saw nothing and he felt nothing. And he was sure, Hashemayim, you are failing, you're useless, you're not getting anywhere. He's like, no, I'm going to do it anyway because that's what I could do. And eventually, he came back with his wife and they had Shais. Now, it's interesting. The Maisa, if you're Medayik, Noach came from Shais. Just like Hevel died, and he had no children, Cain, all of Cain's descendants were killed in Mabul. Nobody was left. There was a spiritual connection we have to Cain.
Who came from Hevel?
Huh?
No one came from
No one. But all of the descendants of Cain died, yes, but all the descendants of Cain died in Mabul. No one was left in Pashtus. Right? L'chayra. If I'm not mistaken, Og was a Palit. He was a special. I don't think he came from Cain. He came from something else, I think. Not sure. Maybe it was Bechem. Perhaps not. Perhaps there was a little bit left. I'm not sure. Pashtus, I believe I saw even inside that it's not. But the kids, pretty much everyone who was killed The main was always Bechinas of Kain, that's for sure. So now, what happened? He said, these are, that's what we need to know. This is Kuflam and Shonim, and he's trying to fix this Chet, the Eitzadah. So then what happened? We need to fix these very high neshamas that came out from Rishon over there. So that's the Bechina where we had the Mabul. The Mabul, one of their big Averis was this Bechina of the Ravatah. That was one of the Bechinas because that was their Shorish. And the reason when a person is a Shorish, somewhere he's going to feel a need to do this particular thing.
So since their Shorish
was this place, Ravatah, so they were, that's what they were involved in. That's one of the things they were involved in.
No, the Sheish didn't come from Zeratul. He came from
natural. He's just saying that's the bottom line of these people because they're the problem with the Ramabel. And like that's what I said. It could be. I'm not sure. I didn't sit and work out the genealogy. So which descendants was Sheish? What happened? I don't really know. But the most people that was around the Pashas were descendants of Cain, L'chayra. And these descendants of Cain, they were from this place, and those are the people who were doing this there, because that was their Shorish, right? That's what it says. That's the Mabul. Hashem Kilu wiped them out.
Cain's offspring was destroyed in Mabul.
What?
Cain's offspring was destroyed in Mabul.
Yeah. L'chayra, even all of it. Unless you want to say Ognach Habash not.
Noah came from
Sheish. That's right.
What about Chibel?
Again, it could be that if you want to think about it, if we think about it for a minute, so really the truth is it's not exactly true because the wives of Shem, Cham, and Yafes, I'm not sure where they came from. Could be they were from Sheish. Also, it could be not. Makes sense to say they were from Sheish, but I don't have any proof to say that. So there was a little bit. It was mostly pretty much almost wiped out for sure. Maybe completely wiped out. I'm not certain of it. But actually, it needs to be worked out. But actually, I thought I might have seen it somewhere. I don't think I'm like working out for my own. I'm pretty sure I saw it somewhere. Perhaps not. But anyway, so those are the beginnings of that's the door. And then you have Dora Flaga. Dora Flaga built this tower. They were fighting with Hashem. So again, Dora Mabul, Pashtus, also they were involved in Gezel because Gezel was their Bechina as well. That's the Bechina of the Dora Mabul because the Rishon was Kivyachol Gozel. He in a way that wasn't proper what he took from the fruit. Like the Gemara Sanhedrin says, one of the things to do with this Eitzadas was Gezel. So that was their two things. Then you had Dora Mabul was Kfira, and another thing that Aaron Rishon did was Bechina of Kfira because he was kofar with Hashem. Like you'll be like the snake is convincing them to do not like what Hashem wanted them to do.
That's Dora Mabul or
That was Dora Flaga, was the Bechina of Kfira. Like they had Achdus, but they had Kfira.
Dora Flaga was two things: Bechina of Gezel and Bechina
of Zerabatala. And that was Dora Mabul. And Dora Flaga was Avodah. Okay, this is the bottom line background. And now we're going to go on to like where we're going to. Behem so Dora Mabul Shai Gam Ki Mashchis Nizar Mal Aretz Liyosem Boy Mishor Shahu Ad Shinimolchu. Yeah, that's it. That's what it is. They were involved. He says himself. V'zeh so Bayar Hashem Ki Rabba Rasa Adam Ba'aretz. So they carry an Ikra Rabba, Matzir Ikra Rabba, and Ras Ha'adam Mamish. Ras Ha'adam Al-Aretz. Ras Ha'adam means Ra is the beginning of carry of Adam. The Adam Arishan's carry was causing these neshamas to exist and to be doing this problem. That's how he explains the puzzle. Achak in this gaga b'dor haflaga, v'leim kosam asher banu b'nei ha'adam. Banui the Adam kadmo atzmai. It says the b'nei ha'adam built. Who are these? These are, again, this Zerah that came out of Adam, and they are the B'nai Adam, and they came back again to our Flaga, they were Kfir, and whatever their issues were. They had it come to be fixed, because all these were very high neshamas. The trouble is, they were in the route. Actually, they were in the hands of the Klippas, and it was very hard for them. So again, we see what happened. Terrible tragedy. The whole world destroyed. Why? To begin fixing the neshamas. The first two stages of fixing the neshamas was Dora Mabul and Dora Flaga. Dora Mabul was terrible destroying, and Dora Flaga was scattering them around. Right. Then we have to bring these neshamas back and fix them. Okay. Rabbi Nachman uses this very, very, very much, which is that when a person is mamish in the klippas and it's so hard for them, it's so challenged, he says that is a sign that your neshama is the highest neshama. The higher the neshama, the harder the challenge. Not that people think the opposite. People think, guy's challenge, he is like, you know what I mean, a second neshama, a third neshama. He's a loser neshama. The guy is like got it together. He's got like a lot of ore. He's no challenge. That's the higher neshamas. That is not true. The truth is the higher, the metal neshamas that were very, very tortured. Those were the neshamas that were the highest neshamas. That's what the Ritz says. So they're highest neshamas because they're challenged, right? B'chol dor hahu hayu mechinas hadas k'moshes b'atzenu. That door was das, as he'll explain. The hayu dor shel Moshe misheres nishmosoi v'ashnishach l'klipos k'nizke. The door of Moshe was Rosh Hashanah, but they were in the klipas. They had to be freed and purified of the klipas. The whole Galus Neshamas was to save the Neshamas that began from the carrier of the Mauritian and went to toward Mabel or Flugger. That was the purpose of, and they became the Jewish people. That was the purpose of the entire Galus Mitzrayim. V'chein bo, but also Ashibu Regolo ba'avodah kosher b'chaim levenim. So Isim dor Flaga Kadei Shitzav Yizaku Mechalas Tumosa. Oh.
It's not because the reason there was the door of Mitzrayim was because of Pagam and Memuna from Abraham? Is that something?
But that's something too, because he might have been able to fix it without. But he wasn't able to fix it without. That was the idea. Every little thing, the others had big repercussions. The Pashas is Apilabi, that's very simple. He tried to fix it, he wasn't able to fix it. But the thing here is that what did the Jews do in Mitzrayim? They built. Why did they build? Because they had to fix Dor Flaga. They Pagam. In Dor Flaga they built inappropriately this tower against Hashem. Now they're going to build for no purpose. They're going to sink. It's going to be so difficult. Yeah, because you need to build now to fix what you did. That's what we know the clouds. Generally speaking, when a person is in a situation which is so difficult for them, and they're like, "I'm getting nowhere. And it's so hard." It's because of Gilgul. And that's how it works. That's what happens. It's like it's going to go on. It's in Yonim. It's deeper things. We have to do what we can to deal with it. I think he's going to say later on. That's also why, just like in the Mabul, the boys were cast into the Nilus because they were, again, just like the Mabul. It was, again, going back to the Mabul in order to fix these Neshamas. That's that he'll say later. I think even Chesed is going to bring it. Right, but Amna Bios Chatam Besod Hadas Kimisham Yetzon Yitzotus Shel Nishmosam Chen Yadam Moshe Gegos Haya Nimshach Misham. This Gos was from Das. The Das was all messed up. The Yitzotus of Nishmosam was from Das. That's why Moshe knew that they were Gos from Das. Ki Yisrael Pogum Lamato Ve'Isim Kam Be'ezim Midel Yona Yechitzonim Yon Kimisham. When the Jewish people blemish and they mess up a particular aspect, a particular attribute, the Chitzonim get a Yanika. They're able to take over there. But say, goes Mitzrayim. That's where it goes. Kikol Shefa Das Sayu Yonkim Oisui Paro Mitzrayim. The whole Shef of Das, Paro, and Mitzrayim. That whole. He's going to tell us particularly what Das and how Das we'll see. But that's the first rule.
How does he use Das in this way? Like, how do you understand what it is? Like consciousness, awareness of the Shem.
Okay, so what's Das? This is a good question. On a simple level, it means, this ability to bring what you know into your actions and into who you are.
So is the door.
That you want to see who it is?
Yeah.
Again, definition of the Rav.
When you as I take this for him, that when you
To bring.
that you need to bring it into the actual. I have another one. Bring it into the actuality.
Bring
it to reality. Your aspirations, your goals, what you want, how you want. That's what we're talking about. That's how you.
You bring from the intellect
into reality. That's why Paulus Ha'orif, he's right here by the throat, and he does not let the das spread out into your actual self, into your midos, into your emotions, into who you are. You know very well. You know lots of things very well. A person knows very, like my father's fond of this example. The guy, the doctor is smoking the 3 packs a day. Like, don't smoke, it's going to kill you. It's like, yeah, very nice. You don't know anything. You know in your head, but you don't know in your actions. You have no idea. He has no idea. He's making 3 packs a day, and he's like, the little things you just can't stop. But that's not what it's about. That's what pashtus. Yep. So the Morinayim says that the Dasan goes because they didn't really know about Hashem and His Torah. They didn't know. Dor Mabul did not listen and could not connect to Hashem. Right? Why should we serve Hashem? They knew this world. They knew the Torah, what the Torah was, and how the Torah was.
Is it das and das now?
Yeah, in a certain way, yes. Because the bitter person has a hard time connecting and really feeling what he knows. You know, Hashem is everything's from Hashem. Yeah. Everything's from Hashem. I know. So why am I depressed? I'm depressed because I don't really know. I have das tachton. I won't das eliyah.
Most people they don't even know that.
No, that's a different thing. Yeah, it's good. It's a chizik. I'm with you. It's chizik. You know, but the Maisa, you know, but you don't really know. You want to be connected, and it's not so simple to connect. You want to connect. You want to be connected. Not so easy. Listen, so they were big Rishayim, man. Yep. So they threw the Torah, the Bechin of the Torah, into Mitzrayim, to Egypt. Torah is a das. We had to fix the Torah, so we had to go to Mitzrayim to pick up the das. Pick up the Torah, through all the Savoda, through all these difficulties. When a person struggles, having a hard time, he's really uplifting things. That's what Nassim says, that Hashem is with us when we go into Mitzrayim. When we come out, Nassim says, don't think you're in Yerida when you're in Mitzrayim. When you're in Yerida, you're really on your way out. You're going through a beer, you're going through a process of purification, whether you know it or not. It's the same thing Jewish people went into Mitzrayim in order to redeem and uplift the Torah. And the way they did it was all the hard work and all the suffering, all the difficulty. That's how they did it. That's how he explains. He said that's why the Zohar says that Klal Yisrael served the Mitzrayim with Chomer. The Zohar says Kal v'Chomer. Levenim, Libun Svara. Right? As they state. Libun Hilchasa. The Parach is a Pircha. Backbreaking means having kashas, working out the kashas. Because there, he said, what are you talking about? You think that the Jewish people who were slaves without end, you think they were asking kashas and Kal v'Chomers? What that sounds like completely out of it sounds like out of left field. Like what does that mean, Bichlal? She said it means that their work brought out the Torah from the Golos where it was in Mitzrayim. The ability now to say Kal v'Chomer, the ability now to have a Piruch and a Kach, the ability to do with Libun Svar and Libun Halacha, it all happened because of their slavery in Mitzrayim. That's how the Morinam explains. So when they left with everything.
The Morinam says that word?
The Morinam, yeah. He said, after you see Mitzrayim, he says, even though, he said, he says, I became I made Paro, I hardened his heart because his osos, I'm going to put my osos in him. He said, that's the osos of Torah that Hashem was freeing through the plagues. He gave them the choshech and all the difficulties, and we had all the or, and we're free. That's what he says. Very, 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 very good. He said, after Mitzrayim, even though there were more Golos, the Das is not in Golos in the same way because we have the Torah. So what's in the Golos now is Midos, Ava, Yira, Dveikus, but not Das.
Is Manazeh?
Yeah, that's what he says. Midos and Dos, Ava, Yira, Tiferet,
This
the Morinai, and other Midos. Because everyone knows that there's Hashem. They have Das. Everyone according to their Bechina. But the Midos, certain Golos, they have other avos, other yiras. It's very, very hard. So the Maisa, because it's really more das, the das Elyon was holding back the das tachton from really spreading out, which is what we're going to learn. Like what that means is never, even though we were saying before, it's also in the midas, but it means that they couldn't express any midas. That the slavery made them like unborn embryos. They couldn't get anywhere. They were just totally apathetic. They were completely. They couldn't even cry out to Hashem until the king died.
Is that extreme cuttings?
Yes. Excellently put. Extreme katnus. There's an incredible aspect of katnus, and that's why again, like we'll see Aleph Dam. So because they got rid of the Aleph, they removed the Bechin of Aleph, there was Dam. That's what Dari says.
So Adam equals Aleph Dam.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yud K, not Yud K. Aleph K Yud K is Gematria Dam. So they instead of Adam, it's Dam. Yeah. That's why the Torah says, remember Mitzrayim. Use your means to serve Hashem. You have to remember that the Das already left Mitzrayim. And we know that Hashem exists, and everything is Hashem's existence. Everything's a Bari Kol Olamim. It's not so hard to take the Midas out and bring them to good. Use them the way Hashem wants you to use them. That's why I have to keep remembering Mitzrayim. Keep remembering. The Das got out. We're able pretty easily to remember that everything's from Hashem. At least in theory, bringing in the Midas is a little bit difficult, but we're not so apathetic like they were. We're not so paralyzed like they were. And we can do it. It's close which is the time we can do it. That's how we explain. Even during the night, you're supposed to mention Mitzrayim. When things are really difficult, you still can use the aura of Mitzrayim to find the aura and to connect the meters to the way they're supposed to be. That's how we explain it. Right. We're supposed to connect lower things with higher things. That's our job. That's what we're doing here, and that's how we do it. Yeah, and then the Neshamas fall into the Klippas. We have to bring them out. We have to fix everything. There should be a Kol Mashleim. Everything should be complete. Just the way it was when Rishon before he sent. And then Mashiach will come. The next Shemayim Eretz. So as Messiah says, I didn't know. You have to mention existence of Mitzrayim. We didn't know, right? We didn't. But I didn't know until it was a Messiah because we had to get the ore of being able to find the das and the difficulty from the right way, the right conduit, or else it's not going to go into you. You have to connect to the tzaddik, and we're going to give you the ability to really connect and really bring the ore of das into Mitzrayim. But the first step is again knowing that Hashem's here with you. That's what Rav Nosson also says. As you're in Mitzrayim, you bring God into Mitzrayim, so you're not in Mitzrayim anymore. Bring Hashem, live with Hashem. Right, so it's a little bit avoda of the das from the morning nine.
Can I just clarify? The first step is to know Hashem is with you.
Mm-hmm.
The first step is to know Hashem is with you.
Yes.
It's a bechin of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Because in Mitzrayim they didn't know that Hashem was with them.
Exactly, the das wasn't Galus. They were so, again, they didn't even cry out until the king died. They couldn't talk. They were so overworked and so busy that anything that happened was miraculous for them. Miraculous. Anything miraculous. Children, they had children was miraculous. Miracles. Children, right? So, they gave birth in the field and they had protection. That's Shemaimi. It makes no sense. Unbelievable things. And that's what it was. That's a bit time. She's kids with the father below Esther Shleiman.
Are we back in the Chazara?
Yeah, I read the next paragraph. Maybe too fast.
Kvar? As it need a warning. Kvar is by one. It's Leno. I went back. I'm sorry. Back to the end of that paragraph in the second line, right? Yeah, that's why the Jewish people of that generation were meshubed to Paro and to Mitzrayim. And again, the Morinaim says to get the Torah out of the Golos, get the Das of Hashem out of Golos. That's
you know where exactly the Morinaim said it was?
I think it's a page. So I have it here. No, it's Shmos.
The Morinaim and Shmos?
Yeah. So that's it again, and you'll see it. The more we learn these inyanim, the more we're going to find that the Chassidish Sfarim very, very much, especially the Talmud, the Baal Shem Tov, and the Magid, very much deal with these concepts in explaining the Chassidus overtly. There's no question. You're learning, you're like, right, that's the Kavanah. Right, that's again because we want to understand what's going on. The more you know these inyanim, the more easy it's going to be to know what is flying in all these Sfarim. We've Nosson for sure, or Menachem for sure, but like all the Sfarim, like all whatever sefer you're going to name, let's say so to stick a sefer, is an explanation of Pi Kabbalah. Chabad, it doesn't matter what book it is. Come on, it makes no difference. All of them, all of you, so the Abish, the Night, the Neumann, whatever the Sfarim are, they're all doing the same thing, which is giving you what the Ri says. Very much, they keep returning to it. You'll see what I mean. There's absolutely no, the more you know, the more you see, you'll be like, this is what he's saying. You understand, it has a totally different, you understand the context instead of
totally like, okay, this is something or some idea floating somewhere. Okay, I believe. Okay, Amuna, like you have no idea what it is. That's also important. So up to the second paragraph before the end, which I read like in about 2 seconds before for no reason. Like I guess I'll give a quick introduction. So the Maisa, we know that person's das runs away. The Der Anpin is made up of the midos, Chesed, Gvur, Tiferet, Netzachot, Yesod, and Malchus. And like we said last time, I think like the Maisa, maybe the easiest way to understand it, if you want Bekitzer, is the construct of the Gemara Baal Tanya, which is Chesed, Gvur, Tiferet is Avi or Dvekas, and the Morinayim, like we saw also, Avi or Dvekas, and Netzachot, Yesod is going till breaking through, using the eights to break through, knowing what to do so that you're victorious. Hod is admitting, because when you want to work out and clarify what the truth is, you have to know what to reject. And more like, this is no good. Yeah, if I have now a glass of wine, I'm gonna fall asleep. I can't drink wine now, but I want wine. It doesn't matter. You drink wine, you're gonna fall asleep. It's over. Or don't drink wine. Yeah, a person's like, he'll go somewhere. Who knows what'll happen? Don't go. He knows. He wants the emes, the netzach of Gaminayim. Don't go where you have Gaminayim. It's very simple. It's not. If you don't have the rejection, then you can't have the netzach. That's why it's 2 legs. It's standing at two pillars. You can't have one without the other. You can't hop. You have to have this knot to have this yet. That's netzach being one. That's how they explain.
Chol is the rejection. Netzach is what?
And netzach is doing what's going to be. You're going to win through with it. You're going to be victorious. You're going to be happy. Getting the right eitzes. Right, and then Yesod is knowing that what you do counts. That Tzaddik Yeshua says, and I think it's also in these. That's not what they say. I'm sorry, I went to a different construct. It's not really true. They say that Netzach is remembering the Ahava, the Baal Tanya for sure. I think they go up to remembering the Ahava, but you don't feel it propelled in the same way. But you remember it so that you want to get to it. Hod is remembering the Yira, and Yesod is remembering the Dvekas. That's what they say. I'm sorry. So I'm like, I brought something else in, which is from Chabad for sure. Also about Netzach and Hod and how they work for sure. That's what is brought in, this idea. But it's not the regular, the usual simple concept. But actually, one way or the other way, this is called the Zeran. Every person has these in Yanim. Now we also have the capacity to connect to what's above nature. We have the capacity to do tshuva. We can fix ourselves, change our whole self. Totally transform ourselves. Unbelievable. Tshuva, the power of tshuva. President Tshuva, suddenly, he's in a totally different place. Out of nowhere, you're like, wow, this guy, he's just not the same guy anymore. What happened? He was, whatever, smoking 3 packs a day, doing this, doing that, whatever these behaviors were, not learning, playing around, and suddenly gets together, total tshuva, different person, no more smoking, it's over. How'd you get that? How'd you get to above nature? You get to above nature. So that's the Bina. And the Chachma is even higher. Chachma is being mavatli yourself to Hashem, totally nullifying yourself to Hashem. Those aspects are tricky. You don't always have them. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Sometimes they're more remote. You understand one thing for the other, but you're not going to actually apply. You're not in the place of applying. You know that you can mavatli yourself to Hashem. You have Chachma, you have ideas, you have the Sabayot knowledge, but you don't really know how to bring it into the midas in any way, in your way. Because when a person sins, to do it, the das, if you sin with das, is very, very bad. That's why Mazid is so serious. When you sin with das, Mazid, doing it on purpose, is so serious. So the first Hashem made the Zer'am with these 6 bechidis and not the extra, the mochin, so that when the person fails, the mochin run away, and he doesn't blemish the mochin, the higher aspects. Generally speaking, that's right. Generally speaking, a person does not blemish the higher aspects. The only exception, Pashas, is Gaiva, which the Ari says Gaiva is Gematria Yud K. And Gaiva has the power to blemish Abiyim, some level. So wow. That's what the Ari says. Gaiva is really bad. Gaiva is with your head.
Gaiva is an Avera in itself?
Gaiva is an Avera.
Or it just leads to Averas?
No, Gaiva itself is an Avera. Okay. Rav Chaim Vital explains that why are Midos seemingly in the Torah only in a peripheral manner? We don't find the Torah like listing Midos. Like here and there. It's this is that. It says, lest your heart gets mighty and you forget. So the Torah, first of all, we didn't know that this, the Gra says and many others say, the Torah has Tariq mitzvahs, those are shroshim. But there are many, many other Torah mitzvahs, positive and negative, that's no makir for the negative. And it's positive is not the same as an aseh, in terms of the technical, aseh, docholot, aseh, all these different rules that aseh doesn't have, but it's still the raisa mitzvah. So that's the first thing we need to know. So there are a lot of things. Yeah, you have a chiyuv gaiva. You're not allowed to have gaiva. There are places that learn this doraisa, at least on that level. If it's not tayag, maybe it is also is, but it's on least on that level. But the midas of Chaim tells us you don't have it because midas are foundational. When you don't have a foundation, you have nothing. There's nobody there. So that's the foundation. That's everything's built in the bedrock of midas. So midas are very, very, very important. So gaiva, the Maisa, the Rabbi says gaiva, the cut gaiva is the worst because it reaches avadim. But again, the bal gaiva, and that's what the Beis Avram says. The Beis of Shlonim says that you can do a gaiva is worse than any avera because any avera, the more mitzvahs you do, the more good you do, the more likely you are to fix yourself. Listen, oh come on, what's it? What? I should be doing this thing. It's not appropriate. Titus, these Titus, it's not appropriate for me. There's a certain point where a person gets it. He's like, no, this is not good. Like he could. That's a school, right? The Torah brings it back to Lamutav if he wants. So except Gaiva. Gaiva, the more you do, the more Gaiva you have.
Big exotic.
Yeah. Well, that's like the story with the Zulushkin. You probably know it's a famous story. He brings down, there was a bacher who was, every Sidduch he rejected. Like, nah, not appropriate for me. Nah, not my level. Forget it. I'm like, listen, buddy, I think you need to learn about another. You learn Orchot Tzaddik, it's part about another. You need to work on your humility. Your humility is a little bit deficient. So he spent a month or two learning another in depth.
So this is a guy in Shidduchim?
Yeah, a guy in Shidduchim. So they,
guy in Shidduchim?
Yeah. So the Shadchan, after he was done, they were Matzia another Shidduch. He's like, no, she's not my level. They're like, what are you talking about? You just do another. He's like, when it wasn't, no. So this for sure wouldn't have been considered. And now that I'm another one, you're joking. like you're not. This is the problem. So the guy made a certain way is poking the highest things because you could be in dveikis, you could understand one thing with the other, you could do teshuvah, and you're doing all of this for gaiva. The Baal Shem Tov told the story about a certain person who fasted for Shabbos to Shabbos. Every other Shabbos he would go to the mikveh and he would sit on this rock, and the whole city would come to get a bracha from him. And he said he's a faker. His whole chiyas is from the cupboard. Nobody get a bracha from him. You'll see what happens. Did he get a bracha? He said he's going to do tshuva. He's going to die. He died. His whole ability to push through with the fasting brachas, to give those brachas. That's his life. And listen, that's not okay. It's not, again, levels and levels. So he has moichin, he has dos. It's all fake and lies. It's not real.
The prophets were still in the sky.
It could be. It's not real. Again, this is a different point, which is sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But like the mitzvah, the bottom line is you have the beginning of the guy and that completely balls up everything, ruins everything. So that's where we are. Right, so that's the paragraph we're going to read now. So Hashem set up the Zer Anpid so that the only thing when a person is poking, he's poking, generally speaking, he's poking only with his emotional states. He's not poking with the real you. You have your das, you have your Chachma Bina, but you don't really have it in a way that's going to be affected by the Vera. And that's what the Maral says. When you do something on purpose, when a person does something with like Bishat Nefesh, like it's a Shita, that's much worse than doing it and you fail on whatever.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. It's the worst because it's amazing with das. He said, no, I should do this. Like, no, you shouldn't do this. Yeah, the hachis, or even not the hachis, even because I think this is the right way. Like, that's very nice, but so usually people that just not they don't really know. But like Maseh, you have to know that this is not good. This is not the way it should be. You have to better to do an avera. A person falls and like forgets it. Kiv yachol, he loses his das. When he started to take away your das, right? That's better. That's what the Rebbe brings from the Baal Shem Tov, I believe. But during the sun, they take away your das. You don't have das. Is why you have a chance of falling in the sun. But if you do it with, like, cognizant of like, this is the right, that's really bad.
So for that person, it's not Ruach Shtus?
That's worse. It's always a Ruach Shtus, but he left himself open to the Ruach Shtus. That's what the Rishon says. The Rishon says, and I think that the Chosman brings it. He says, if in a person does a sin unless he has a spirit of folly, so why is he responsible? It's not even a spirit of folly. He said, you're right, but he let it in. So then what happened? You're responsible. You leave a gun on your table and someone comes to shoot somebody, it's your problem. You have to protect your guns. It's partial. I mean, same thing, you left the gun to be used against you and everyone else. Because you let that ruach shtus in. No, don't you hide those guns away. You're responsible for your koach. You have the ability. You need to keep this out. That's how he explains. So Bekitzer, we'll find inspired slavery. Ki kshesh chashon kan lemala ay de'avonas hador. As kochos al yonim mistalkim. Lemala kedesh linkum mehem chitzonim. When there are sins of the door that let the chitzonim have a koach on us, the higher aspects run away. Moshe Data Batam, Ayos Zashish Kitz the Vadlo, Esther Shleim,
Where's the reading now?
I'm sorry, the second paragraph from the end of the second. Yeah.
I need a warning. I'm sorry.
I'll give you the warning next time. It's a
I'm
shame.
sorry.
This is unlike.
So which paragraph? Kfar?
Yeah,
Where's
I read it. I read through it. So like, the kids, it says what we just said. That's what the Zohar is 6 and not 10. After the tikkun, there's 10, but also then they run away. The beginners, so you have 6, and then they can run away with that. All these other beginners, the higher beginners. So I'm not telling.
Let's say like bad thoughts or pagam emuna, isn't that pagam in mochin, like bad days?
Not exactly. Days is different. It depends. It depends. Usually, a person doesn't know better and doesn't understand.
What's a chafra? The chafra pagam.
Chas v'sholem.
Chas v'sholem.
So I'm at the last paragraph of the second column. B'dak kibizman goes mitzrayim. Chazor azal lios gimel klinim b'klas hanikra ibo rishon. Goes mitzrayim. Everything goes back to ibo rishon. Ibo rishon is like it's only potential, no actualization happening here. And again, like we were saying, the whole theme, very much the theme of this limud of Pesach is actualizing our potential. It's a big part of the avodah of what we're doing here. We need to actualize our potential. We need to bring our potential in and actualize it. That's the avodah of Pesach. So you have the bechin of Ibur. The bechin of Ibur, what's Ibur? Ibur is the Inyan. So in Mitzrayim, what happened was there was such a unika. So again, like we saw the Morinai, and that's a very important point. So they had to get the Torah out. To get the Torah out, they had to get completely under the Mitzrayim and then break out. Also, Sai Eila became blasted with the Bacchus and got rid of them. And that really wasn't the solution of the Eila. That was an arousal from above that saved them. Right? So you have a Bechina with this only potential. And like again, when we go to Mitzrayim, we need to know, and this is what we gave life to during Purim, what we said, or we didn't say, or we could have said, right? Could have confused Ara Haman Baruch Mordechai. We gave life to this part of the klipa, this other, we said there's nothing that comes out from it, nothing that means, the part of me that I need to fix. That is only potential. That is a person's slave. It's by Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is Meitzor Yam. There's a Meitzar, there's a narrowness, there's a constriction. I can't bring this out, I can't make this happen. I just can't do this. This no. Can't daven kavanah. I can't learn properly. I can't do this. I can't actualize my potential. And we have to actualize. We want to make it happen. Actualize. So the first thing is this basically we're in a level when we are in. During that time, they were kilo. They were again. The slaves they couldn't talk. That's what the Rebbe says. The Yud Kei of Elokim was inaccessible, and there were a bechina that's called Ilaim. Mute. They can't speak. They can't express. They davened only when Paro died, the new king, whatever that means, whether he died or he had a new day or whatever it was. Then they were able to actually say something, and that brought the issue. Before then, why did they daven? What's the trouble? I just can't speak. Can't say anything. Can't do anything. Again, this idea of potential that's not yet actualized. It's the same thing. Every year we need to actualize our potential. That is the avodah here.
Is a Meitzar Yam in Mitzrayim? Is Yam Tafka?
Yam is Yam HaChachma.
Yam HaChachma.
Me, Nunshai Bina, Tshuva, all these things. Yeah, that's what you can't get anywhere. You're done. You're cooked. You can't do anything that's what you need to do. You're a slave. Person's a slave. That's all he's a slave. He's like, this, I have to do this. I just have to do it. That's how it is. That's the story of the beaver, or whatever. I don't know if it's a beaver exactly, but something called, there was a chai that was called this beaver. But the chai used to know it was a very clever animal. I think my uncle Tice is a fox, but I'm not sure if that's really the Tice. Whatever it was, the trappers knew that this animal had an instinct. It made one set of tracks only into its lair, and as it went out of its lair, it went out on the same track, so people would know it's out. It went in, and that's it. And the trappers would put a trap right on its footsteps, and this creature could not. It looked at the way he says it. They look back, it sees the trap, and it's crying, but it can't stop itself from instinctively walking into the trap. That's how he explains. Again, it could be that the animal didn't really know, but it means it should know. I don't know exactly what he meant by that. I'm not sure. I don't have the materials of trappers and whatever you're trying to minx or whatever they were getting there, whatever foxes was about. But the point is, you can't be that way. You shouldn't be that way. That's what people are. It's just I have to have that. I have to have that cake. I have to have that this. I have to have that cigarette. I have to have whatever it is. And the person is damaging to him. It is. I have to have that joint. I just have to do it. It's like the person what you just said, it's like really hurting you.
Cheeseburgers.
He's like, no, yeah, I know it's hurting me, but I still can't get rid of my. For now, I'm stopping, but I can't get rid of whatever they have. They have different things they have to use. I have the thing, my accoutrements I keep because, hey, you know what I mean? Something I need. Yeah, it can't be. Attack damages. I have no clarity. Okay, what can you do? Like that's just like that fight. He just can't. You see, it's no good. If you can't make it happen. He can't do it. You have to get this place of Bina of the Nushai Bina and get out of Mitzrayim. Stop doing the same behavior. That's what we're again. And everyone is different. Everyone has their challenges. One person might be overeating. One person might be indulging his temper. One person might be whatever these things are, whatever your problems are, that you need to actualize and do. Whatever the problems are, those problems are what we have to watch out for. We have to try to actualize and make happen during this time.
Why do we say the Mitzvah Bina isn't it Mitzvah Das?
Yes, but again, the Yam Chachma and Bina, all these different bechinas, they're all one aspect. In other words, we have to try to get the Das, and try to bridge down. Like again, you have the Chachma and Bina are above nature. Das is more what we can sort of connect to, right? Bina is connected to a Koch that's going to help you do something that's impossible to do. When you want to lose weight, right? So that means overcome. A person has a tendency to eat. He has to understand and be aware and stay aware of the detrimental repercussions of overeating. I'm like, this is not what I want to be. This is not what I want. This is not what I'm looking for. So I have to stay. If I don't stay, goodbye. Otherwise, like I said, everybody says if you wait 15 years, it's a hard will wait 15 years, 10, 15 years for a person to lose. Oh, I got it in my pocket. I got it. And then suddenly he's back to 400 pounds. Like, what happened? Oh, shit. I doubled my, you know what I mean? I double yet. It's in a way, it's very good, but it's not the way good I want. It's not the good I'm looking for. You have to be careful. You have to know. So the person he has a challenge. It's a challenge. The person has a challenge for smoking. He has to know. This is something damaging. I don't want to do this. He has to really get that. He has to really know in a deep way. It's the access to what's the mom and the teva to change. Otherwise you can't change. He wants to change. He knows he should change. Yeah, it's going to help you a lot. You know what I mean? Person, he's like, oh, I'm having less, and then suddenly, he has some sort of stress, and suddenly he's right back in there. What happened to me? I don't even know. That's the way it is. We have to fight. We have to fight very hard. And one of the feet where they are, you have to know yourself what your challenges are. Then, you want to learn. You have to learn every day. You learn about some other, learn about where you're supposed to learn. So it's not so easy. It's not so passionate. Right, very good. With that, so I'm going back to that last paragraph of the second column. Back to Iburishin, the child that's folded over, 3 on 3, Chagat on Nai, right? The legs, it's all folded into the womb and has absolutely powerless. That's what happened.
What's the Iburishin is?
Absolutely beginning with nothing. You have nothing. Matter of fact, there's a kasha here. What's a pshat? How could that be? Iburishin was before everything. How do you have to have 6 days or chetzit word that's what you saw when you classical class. So pashas, there is a level of whatever these 6 things. Fine, it's an aspect of it, whatever it means. Like bottom line is,
what's the Iburishin? What's the
Iburishin? Iburishin means the very like mamash gestation, like a baby in the womb, very beginning. This is a baby and you're absolutely nowhere. Kind of Iburishin that can take it to higher levels, higher beginnings, but it's very simple. Like totally back to the drawing board. No shaykhs, only potential. And again, in terms of what we need to do and effect on Pesach, we're Iburishin. That's what happens. In this area, a person's Iburishin might be who knows what. It might be lots of things. So we have to know. Okay, this is a challenge for me. I have to be zocha to connect and leave Mitzrayim. That's what Pesach is about.
Erev Pesach at that stage.
Pesach in general, we'll see. Pesach really is about Yisalusa de La'ela. They had no way out of Mitzrayim. They were done. Nun Shari Tumah, another minute, right? And then what happened? Hashem removed them. So like we were saying before, right? That's the whole idea. And you're definitely right. Of course, the Memtes Yom of Sphira correspond to Yosef. The Memtes Yom of Sphira definitely correspond to the Memtes. The 49 days of Sphira definitely correspond to the 49 levels of Shari Tumah. Like Rabbi Yosef points out. And you're right. You're totally right. Undoubtedly, you're right. Listen. Come on, you're doing Sphira, you're internalizing what you're doing. It's 49 days, Mistama, you're dealing with one of the Shari Tumah each day. I mean, come on. And you're right. But it still happens from after Purim. until Pesach, because that's going to help us like get the ore to connect to what we need to spring and free. And then in the sphere we have to internalize. That's what we say. We have to internalize the sphere. That's what we say. Right? So that's the beginning of where we are. Right? Right? This is the Talmud Yimele Bechinas Tzpachos Haheich Sone Shalosh Begufu Kanoida Ol Lamala El Soid Das Shaboy Makum Hangaron Soid Mitzrayim Shasham Umistayim Soid Shigum Maseh Hazor Kanoida Beloy Hayim Meir Hadas Bezo Begufu Irak Bedas Achorayim Begush Shishtodim Yo, it's not such schmuck. What happened? Well, the first thing you need to know to understand this paragraph is that there is something called Chassan Das and Gurus Das. That's why it's Chassan Das and Gurus Das. And that's when you talk about Mitzrayim had a koach in the Das. The Chassan Das was the Das could not have any kind of a expression in the person. So again, that's what the Moranai was saying. Again, you don't have Das, you can't really connect. It's very hard for you to connect to Hashem. So the Midrash are like, forget it. You're done. You can't move. You can't dream. You can't do anything. You're a slave. You get the slave, right? You know about the slave mentality, right? You just can't do anything. You're powerless. You're a chattel. You're nothing. It's like that's you can't. And that's exactly what we're talking about. So at that point, there's something called Chassan Das Tachton. So it's Chassan Das and Gvurus Das. Okay. This is a very important concept.
Tachton Elyon corresponds.
Yes, Tachton means bringing the das into your midos, and Elyon means the das itself. So that's what it says. And we know that Bekitzer, the Shvira, there was a Shvira in das. What's the tikkun of das? What's the partsuf? We know, like this is a little bit, maybe if you haven't learned it, it's maybe a little bit remote. Bekitzer, there was something called Shvira Sakelim, when everything fell to pieces and able to be a Yitzhahara. Right? I mean, it's too much ore. Rabbi Nachman says you have to constrict the light so that you're not overly much. When you have too much light, you have the light and darkness, and you just can't get it together. You can't be balanced. You have to learn how to be balanced. And this, by the way, is one of the aspects of Yisod of Tikkun Bris. Tikkun Bris means balance, being able to be balanced and good. That's a level of Tikkun Bris. It's always up and down like a seesaw. That's a bechina of Gamma Bris. There are levels, many levels. There are levels and levels and levels of what Tikkun Bris was Gamma Bris. That's one of the aspects, one of the Siman, one of the Inyanim. So there's something, because again, it's Riboy Or. When Nassim brings it from that, when I read it's clear. Every problem happens because of Riboy Or. You're pushing toward it. That comes from Gaiva. It's not.
Every problem is Riboy?
Riboy Or. Yeah. Every problem is Riboy Or. Again, it's Bechin of Gaiva. You're pushing yourself.
It doesn't go both ways. Sometimes it's Riboy, sometimes it's no one.
Yeah, kind of. But generally speaking, that's what he says. It all comes from the bad machshavas. And you let those in, I let those in when I'm in too much Or. Yeah.
You know, like laziness, depression.
Laziness, depression. Also, why am I allowing these thoughts to take me over? I have a natural tendency. It's true because he had too much Or. He had too much Or because you have like this. When you have too much Or, there's like a balance. Here, let me explain each thing as it is. Right? You have the mechid. It's called laziness, depression. Like so, laziness and depression are the bite of the snake, mamish. So how does the snake get into you? Your natural state is neshama shasate b'tarei, joy. So you have a lot of things that go over. A person has a lot of things that transpire and go over them, and that kind of breaks them. And they don't take these things with humility and acceptance. They take these things with fighting and again, too much Or. So the guy's disappointed. He feels bad. He feels this. He feels that, and he's just not moving. And there is an aspect of Riboy Or. That's what it is. Too much Or happened here. It's too much. You are not going with the flow. You're fighting, you're doing, and that's your aspect of Riboy Or. And then you're just apathetic and you can't move, you can't do anything. And that's because you don't have the muscle here. How does it work? Because a person, why is he lazy? How can he be lazy? How can he possibly be lazy? He doesn't know that what he can do will make a difference even as he is. He thinks, if I could be Mashiach, if I could be the Galador, Kedai. But otherwise, another Joshua, who cares? That's Riboy Or. He wants, it'll be 100%. If not, what do you mean? Where did you get that from? It's Riboy Or. He's got these ideas which are vastly inappropriate and messed up. And they are causing him to not even bother. So then he's like, well, what's the difference? Yeah, don't think about the consequence. Why do you think about the consequence? Ribor, he's got this bechina. Well, it should be this way. It should have been that way. It should have been the other way. He's got all these tiny people that start talking about why they're not moving. It's like the pasuk, right? There's a lion in the street. There's a lion in the chacham's in the house. No, there's a lion in the house. He's in the room. No, there's a lion in the room. What are you like? When you person again, he's got this fear. He's got this terrible, this idea, this fixation of this thing. This. It's like what do you? You just live now. Like, don't be in the. There's also all these things are different permutations in Yanav of Ribu or the Fidat of Nasi. It brings the thoughts to take him to places. He's very, very frightened. I can show it to you, Bezashim. I don't remember. I believe it's of Nasi and not the Trinity of. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it's of Nasi. And by Ata Gibor L'Olam Hashem, he says Ata Gibor L'Olam Hashem. The Ari says is Aleph Gimel Lamed Aleph, which is a shame of Gvura. So this says this. Bracha is about being misgaber on the gaiva. I'm sorry, on the bad thoughts, and that's the bechina of Mechayim Mason 5 times in that part of that bracha, because your 5 senses, and these 5 senses need to be purified from the misa of bris and negative thoughts. Like a person like a Russian mace, he says, and that you do through no ribur, connecting and constricting, so that there's no ribur. Otherwise, your sense is going. You're going somewhere which is not not proper, not good.
So Rosh Hashanah also of the
Aleph Gimel Lamed Aleph. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like the Rosh Hashanah of the second bracha of Shmon Esrei, which is connected to Gibor. Ata Gibor L'Olam.
Yeah, exactly. No, 100%, exactly. And that's Aleph Gimel Lamed Aleph. That's exactly. And that's what the Ri says. That's what he says. So that's a show. I'll try to find it for you. It's an Ibisitter that has consider. But actually, a very beautiful consider. But actually, yeah, it's all about Ribur. That's just it. It really, really is. So you're going to come to a person who's going to have these wild, wayward thoughts. Enable him to. Oh, it's okay. I'll do it later. He's lazy. I'll do it later. You have this idea that you have this inflated idea that you can do it you can do what you need to do in such a little, what is your problem? It's like, Ribur, yeah, it's fine. I'm full of ore. You're not full of anything. You're full of it. You don't know. What are you talking about? And this is the problem. The person doesn't understand that because it's always some way of Ribur that's taking him somewhere, which is completely. He's on the wrong train. He's going the wrong place. What are you doing? He's like, I don't know what I'm doing either. He's got these ideas. He needs to eat. Each week he needs to eat 3 pizzas, 4 pizzas. What are you doing? What are you doing? It's all some permutation of it. So, actually, yeah, when we deal with the Chesed Tzvadas K'musha B'das, the result divides these things up. And he said the Chesed B'das is Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Chod. Each of them has a Chesed of Chesed, a Chesed of Gvura, a Chesed of Tiferes, a Chesed of Netzach, and a Chesed of Chod. And the same thing, Gvura. You have a Chesed of Chesed, Gvura of Chesed, Gvura of Gvura, Gvura of Tiferes, Gvura of Netzach, Gvura of Chod, in Das. And each of these things, that's what happened. That's, by the way, again, the tikkun, like I was saying before, Shvius HaKelim, and I sort of lost my train of thought. Right? Shvius HaKelim happened also in Das, but there was no fixing. Each particular thing that happened, there was a particular thing that happened to fix it. There was a corresponding reaction. There's no reaction to Das. What happened to Das? What parts of Das? Nothing. So the way the Ri explains, he says, this Das Tachton, that's the fixing of Das. Das broke, but you fix Das by have your ability to bring Das in each of your midos. You have Das and Abba, Das and Yira, Das and Because again, we all understand the Chesed and Gvura because you have to have a balance. And when it comes down to it again, when we say, let's go with the other definition. It's all the same. Maybe it's easier, maybe not. It's all the same. Like bottom line, let's say Chesed is expansiveness, right? When you're Chesed expansive, you have to have Das. You have to have a right balance. And you're expansive, you have to have Chesed. You have to be expansive and be kind in your expansiveness. Not in a way that the person's going to feel bad. You're expansive, but there's no chesed in the expansion. There's no chesed in that chesed, right? And you have to have vura. You have to have the right amount of expansiveness. You have to know when it's appropriate, when it's not appropriate. You need both of these gruas, the chasad and gruas of das, to have a particular balance. And das is this idea of chibur, to connect it to Hashem. To do it the right way, the right master, and the right manner. The same with limitations. The limitations have to have that ahava to them. They have to have that yira to them. And that brings a das that there's going to be a connection.
Is Chesed Das and Gvura Das parallel Das Elyon Das Tachton?
That's only in Das Tachton.
That's all in Das.
Only
those
Das
two
Tachton.
things are in Das.
That's right. Exactly. And then, of course, your sword has all bechinas. That's why it's called, because it's 50. right? Chaplamet, and Malchus' Kala has all the Brichins plus the last Teyavish name. So I think we probably should stop here because it's probably enough. He's going to work with this, and we'll review it. It's good. It's important to.